Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Overholzer. Those last few words really resonated with me. I don't know if you know my background, Robert, but I was a police officer for 33 years before I came here. So I just look like I've been here 40 years. But I want to visit with you afterwards. I'm very proud of you. And I really agree with the comments that you made again at the end. Funding those programs that used to work, I think has been a mistake that we've made across the board in a lot of social services and aid and help to families. So this is why this hearing is so important, to get the good news out about some of the new programs and new efforts that are being made across the country. And Mr. Overholzer, in your testimony and your work at Third Sector Capital, suggests that this social impact bond financing model has been catching on rapidly at the state and local level. Is this the case, and why do we need federal legislation to implement it on a nationwide basis?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Chairman Reichert. Indeed, I do think there's a great deal of interest around the country. As I mentioned, we have about 15 projects underway, and each one of them does have a government sponsor. I would hasten to add, though, that many of these projects face considerable obstacles that could be addressed through federal legislation that I'll explain in a moment. The Massachusetts project, I would also mention, had as a major impetus a DOL match that was a federal match. And interestingly, that DOL program that challenged states and counties to come up with rigorous pay-for-success constructs caused many, many more applications to be developed, many, many more initiatives and investigations to take place around the country than actually were awarded in the end. In the end, only 2 of them were awarded. One of them was our project in Massachusetts. I would also say that the deadline that was imposed as part of that DOL federal grant created great impetus. I'm not sure we would have gotten the project done if we did not have the benefit of that match, because there's an impetus that comes if you have a match available from the federal level. It allows a local politician to look at folks in the eye who may say, no, wait a minute, why are you spending time on this? And it allows them to say, you know, we are able to tap into some funding that we could not otherwise tap into. And even if that funding might be quite small, it changes the discourse. I would also say that this federal involvement sets much needed standards. Mr. Juppe brought up many pitfalls. That if we, for example, in Massachusetts did not look at the variable cost behavior of prisons, that would have been a bad thing. And so I love the idea of having a federal match that says, hey, this match is contingent on quality standards as spelled out in the law. There's also money there for feasibility studies. It's a modest amount of money, but when you look at local government, that money does not exist. So a very small amount of money for feasibility can unlock major initiatives. And then finally, as Linda Gibbs pointed out, many of these social programs around the country, of course, have federal savings that are generated. So work at the local level can generate savings at the federal level. But if you aren't able to tap into those savings and have that feedback loop of the savings, then the cost benefits don't work as a matter of economics. And so the presence of and this is sometimes called the wrong pocket problem, but the presence of a feedback loop that goes up to the federal spending streams will make it so that more of these initiatives find the cost benefit that they need in order to be successful propositions.
You've answered question 2 and 3 as a follow-up question to your first question, so thank you for your answer. And Mr. Schaefer, you talk about the rigorous evaluation of the CEO model and the results of your model. I'm going to shorten this up just a little bit because of time. Given that CEO has been shown to be effective, why should government fund it through a social impact bond and not just contract with you directly, or why not just turn it into a government-run program? Is this just a more expensive way of contracting out, as Mr. Juppé contends?
Thank you for the question, Chairman Reichert. I'd say on the one hand, CEO is extremely proud of the evidence base we've developed over the last several years, right? Proving that you can reduce people going back to prison is hard work. But on the other hand, I'm not sure government at any level, city, county, federal, has quite caught up in really adopting that ethos of funding what works. And so this project offers us a tremendous opportunity to build additional evidence, but also build a proof point around really getting government to take hold of this different ethos of funding what works. And for us, that's really exciting. And my hope would be at the end of this project, we would reach really what we could term a performance-based contracting 2.0 type approach, where the state of New York, now seeing that we did a really great job, we reduced people going back to jail or prison, would want to contract with us directly. But I would also be quite understandable at this point that we're not just at that level yet. I'd also say, though, in the SIBs, there's a tremendous thing that a few of the other witnesses hit on, is just the deepness of collaboration that this brings apart between government and a contracting partner. So frequently we enter into a contract at the end of a year or end of 2 years, we produce results, or we don't produce results, and we report back to government. Given the reputational risk that I think all parties here are taking on, there's been a tremendous experience for us to really work hand in glove with the state of New York to solve operational problems when they arise, to go through everything from how someone even comes to our program to how they get placed in the job, really with a partnership in government, not just as a contractor-contractee relationship.
All right, just jotting down some notes there while you're talking. Thank you so much for your answer, Mr.